What is up, everybody? What is up? Hope you guys are doing well today. Shout out to everybody who is watching the live stream right now and everybody who's watching the replay. Couldn't appreciate you guys any more than I already do. So, guys, I'm back with another live stream. It's been, I want to say, a good month or two since I've done a live stream. Just wanted to come over here and say what's up to you guys. Got some things going on in real life that I had to kind of take care of. And I wanted to be able to speak with you guys because, I still do have my channel and I want to be able to make sure that you guys do not forget about me. All right, so let's go ahead and get into today's topic where we are going to be discussing how the tech landscape is changing. I'm going to be giving my perspective. We're going to be going through some articles, some videos, and we're going to be just talking about tech pretty much today. I know that I have my Black Man in Tech channel where I am also putting up some content as well. Have some interviews coming up for that. And I mostly have this channel, Before the Billions, mostly talking about finances, business related type of topics. So I want to make sure that I also bring that into this live stream as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We got Game Over. Shout out to Game Over for winning the number 1 spot.
Coming for that number 1 spot. All right, man.
All right, so if it's been that long, if you guys don't know what the number 1 spot is for, number 1 spot is to denote the person who wins the number 1 spot, the first person that I see in the chat. So shout out to Game Over for winning the number 1 spot. We got Bria Joyner up in the building. Thank you so much for tuning in. Got Amethyst up in the building. Wally, shout out to Wally. Salute to you, sir. And we got my boy Citizen Lou. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. A few things when it talks about the tech landscape I wanted to discuss before we get into anything is that I recently attended Render ATL. So it was about 2 weeks ago, but it's recent enough for me to be able to tell you guys what was going on, how much I enjoyed it, what did I gain from that experience, and how you guys should go forward if you are interested into tech and or joining and going to these tech conferences. All right. And then also shout out to Keep It Techie. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. So Render ATL, one of the largest black tech conferences in the Southeast region, right up there with Afrotech. I think Afrotech is the largest one, but I completely enjoyed every single portion of this tech conference, whether it came from the workshops that they provided, whether it came from being able to speak with so many other professionals in the tech industry. One thing that I wanted to bring up, though, is that a lot of people are trying to get into tech. They're interested in it, and they think that going to these tech conferences will get them a job. Well, let me just bring this up. It may be controversial, but I believe that tech conferences are more for the experience, the ability to be able to speak to multiple different people, and then also boosting your connections on LinkedIn. Those are the primary things that's going to be happening at these tech conferences. Not necessarily that you are going to be transitioning to a job just because you went to these tech conferences. So you guys don't know, I started Before the Billions when I got laid off from my job in 2020. It was a hard thing for me, and I would say, dang, what am I going to do? I'm going to start my tech podcast on Before the Billions, and then I'm here to help people to not make the same mistakes. And then I primarily spent the first year on Before the Billions doing live streams and discussing how to get into the tech industry and how to avoid some of these mistakes that I made. Okay. But one of the things that I felt when I was laid off or when I didn't have a job in tech was that I was desperate to get a job in tech. So a lot of these tech conferences, they are pretty expensive. You can have a ticket that's worth $745. That's how much it was for Render ATL. But what I did in order to get that ticket is that I joined a group called Technologists of Color in order to be able to get that ticket. So I got it for free. I would suggest that everybody try to see if they can join some sort of group or club relating to tech and see if you have the ability or opportunity to be able to get a free ticket to one of these conferences. But a lot of people, like I was saying, will go to these conferences expecting to get an opportunity. Let me tell you guys, I've gone to, I want to say around 6 or 7 conferences since I have gotten into the tech industry. I've been to the AWS Summit twice. I've been to the Google On Cloud, or the On Cloud Onboard event, which is also another conference. I've been to Connect.tech, DevNexus, Render ATL, and then Black is Tech. So six different tech conferences. And I'm planning on going to Afrotech later on this year. So the thing about it is that I have some experience with going to these conferences, and what you should expect is that you will go in there and shake hands with a lot of people, ask them for their LinkedIn. But if you do ask them for a job opportunity, they'll say, okay, yes, there's plenty of job opportunities with the company. The thing is that you have to scan their QR code, and then they may and or may not follow up with you after you scan your QR code for their marketing emails. That is to get you into their marketing. That's for you to get into their sales funnel as well. There's a lot of reasons as to why they want you to scan their QR code in order to pretty much get your information. That's what you're signing up for. Hey, I'm looking for a job. Okay, well, if you want to be able to even look at all the jobs that we have available for this conference, then what you're going to have to do is give us your information. So you'll receive like marketing emails and stuff like that. You may receive like job opportunities via your email, but it does not necessarily mean that you are going to get that job or that they have job opportunities available for you and your specific skill set. So if you guys don't know, I am a data engineer or data, depending on however you want to describe it or say it, however you want to pronounce it. But what I do is I work with moving data or information from one place to the other. So that's what I do. And there are a lot of opportunities in that specific role. The only thing is that when you apply for one of these jobs, they may or may not reach back out to you. So what I've noticed is that it makes a lot more sense for you to be able to speak with the recruiters. But even speaking with the recruiters does not necessarily mean you'll get a position. What you have to do is you have to keep going to a lot of these conferences. So if you see somebody the first time, they have no clue who you are. They don't know how serious you are into the industry. And what you have to do is you have to go up to them, introduce yourself. Hey, I'm interested in this position. You may not get it that first time, but what you have to do is the next time you go to another conference, you get the ticket for free, go to another conference, and then they may see you again. You shake their hand again, say, hey, I remember you from last time. Okay, cool. Well, hey, did you follow up with me? Well, I did not follow up with you. I was talking to a whole bunch of different people. I'm going to go ahead and follow up with you. I'm going to send you my resume on LinkedIn. You send your resume, they may or may not respond. And I'm saying this from experience, so it's not like I'm just, making up a scenario, because this has actually happened to me recently. So reach out to them, and they may or may not respond. In my case, they did not respond. But then you go to another conference. hey, that's my boy right there. You dap him up a little bit different. You've seen him a few times. They obviously know that you're in this industry. They obviously know that you're serious about the position that you're in, the role, and they want to see you progress. So if you're still in the same position after you done seen the same person like 2 years in a row, after you've been to like 2 to 3 conferences, then they're going to be like, okay, well, you know what? Look, I know you a little bit more now. I can remember that you are a data engineer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be advocating for you to be able to get that position. So just wanted to bring that up for you guys, is that you have to continuously see these people in order for it to actually turn over into an opportunity. All right, just by getting their LinkedIn, people don't really be looking at LinkedIn like that. And let me tell y'all, another great reason for you to go to these conferences, from my guys out there, if you are trying to practice your game, one of the best places to go. Reason being is that you want to be able to speak with so many people, right? And it makes it so much easier because it's fertile soil, right? So fertile soil meaning that, hey, I can build up my confidence by going up to people. I have something in common with them. I can go, like, I remember I just went up to like a whole bunch of different people. I have a whole bunch of pictures from when I went to a Render, ATL, and all these other conferences. You go up to a person, hey, are you with the conference? Best pickup line right there. Oh, you with the conference? Yeah, I'm with the conference. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, come with us. We gonna go to the bar right quick. And then they go to the bar with you. Hey, we're all here together. We all have a same goal. That's what it is. It's the fact that you have something in common just because you're here at a specific place means that you can have a conversation starter, and it makes it easier for you to be able to speak with many different amounts of people. Let me let you guys know is that I used to be an introvert, and now I'm considered an extrovert. I enjoy going up to people and talking to them. So that's how you get more opportunities, is if you go up and talk to people, right? You want to be able to talk to folks. If you go there for other reasons, let's say, at these tech conferences, there's a lot of beautiful women at these tech conferences. So for the guys out there who are single, looking to talk to beautiful women, that is also another reason to go to these tech conferences as well. Especially, I'm a black guy, so especially at these black tech conferences, man, there are a lot of baddies up in there. Just being real with y'all. So if you like trying to like see somebody who look good, who has something in common with you, and they don't even necessarily need to be in tech either. There's a whole bunch of women who go to these tech conferences, but they're not necessarily in tech. They may have something tech adjacent. So they are in marketing. Marketing, advertising, you have to have good looking, attractive people. So you have a marketing and or advertising woman who works in that field or that industry, they most likely are going to be attractive as well. And because you have something in common with them, you can go out to them really easy and then just start up a conversation. And then, and you could leave from there, especially if they live in the same general location as you. It's fertile soil, guys. So that's even more of a reason as to why you would want to join a group to be able to get a free tech conference ticket. Even if you aren't really interested in tech, a lot of the women who go to these tech conferences, man, they be bad. And then also just conferences in general. That's always a great way to be able to network with plenty of people. Even if you're going there for, hey, just specifically business reasons, there are a lot of people there who are very knowledgeable about many different things. And then tech is a great way to be able to spin off your from going from corporate into your own business as well. Let you guys know is that there are so many business owners that I have met through these tech conferences. You could have guys who are who've been in the industry for like 20 years, and then they go into their own consultancy firm. You have guys who just are like, you know what? I like tech and everything, but I want to go into creating my own AI company, right? I've met some guys like that. There's women as well who I've met who just started their own company within the healthcare and or beauty space as well, but they utilize tech in order to be able to achieve that. One company I can think of off the top of my head that I spoke with is New Notion, which is in the beauty space. And what they do is they would use all of your information in order to be able to better market products for your specific hair texture. Right. So I thought that was pretty interesting as one example for a tech business that was a woman-owned business, a black woman-owned business that I saw at Render ATL. All right. So with that being said, there's also another thing I wanted to bring up as well is that, so I run my YouTube channel, right? I run my YouTube channel and I try to market it whenever I get a chance to. Maybe I want to reach out to somebody to interview them and or to have a collaboration of some sort. Or even just like, hey, let's just take a picture. I can put it up on my YouTube channel or on my LinkedIn, something like that. So that way it can get the channel a little bit more recognition, be able to get more networkers in the Discord chat that I have as well, which it should be on my YouTube channel about section. So with that, I'm going to be trying to promote it a lot more. But what I noticed happened, I want to say a good 3 to 4 times when I was at this tech conference, I noticed something that you may heard of called subscriber supremacy. So I run a business, which is my YouTube channel, but when you are talking to people and trying to interview them, if you hear something like, oh, how many subscribers do you have? 9 times out of 10, they're kind of letting you know if you don't have a certain number of subscribers, then they're not really trying to get interviewed by you. It's almost as if you don't have anything to offer them unless you are able to get them some more clout, more money, more notoriety. So that is one of the things that I've noticed when I went over there. Let me give you 2 examples. I went to Negril ATL, which is a Jamaican-owned. I believe it's Jamaican-owned. It's a Jamaican restaurant over there on North Ave in downtown Atlanta, downtown/midtown Atlanta, and right next to the Varsity. If you guys have ever been to Atlanta, the Varsity, do not go. Terrible food. Let me just let y'all know, people who are from Atlanta do not go to the Varsity. But the Grill ATL is like right across the street from it. They had a part of the conference there at the Grill ATL where I met a lot of people who were business owners or small business owners who were YouTubers, Instagram and or social media influencers. And I spoke to one lady and then I was just having a great conversation with her. Everything was flowing really well. And I noticed that she called over another lady and she said, hey, William, BTB William, he is trying to interview more people for his podcast. Would you be interested? And then the other girl she asked me, she says, oh, well, how many subscribers do you have? Well, I have 2 channels. Before the Billions, which has 2,640,000 subscribers. And then I have my Black Man in Tech channel, which I started last year, which has almost 300 subscribers. And then she said, oh, okay, that's good. All right, great. Got their LinkedIn, never heard from them again. Right? So when you hear that, it's kind of like I'm looking down on you because you don't really have clout. You don't have the 100,000s, the millions of subscribers that I would even feel worth gracing your podcast or your platform. That's kind of what happens. And then the second example is of subscriber supremacy is when I spoke to somebody. They said, oh man, I would love to, work with you, but my team tells me that you need to have a minimum of 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. A minimum. I was like, a minimum? You know how many people have 100,000 subscribers? It's probably like 1% of people on YouTube who has 100,000 subscribers or more. So, it's a very small, minute amount of people who have channels on YouTube who have that many subscribers. And that's one of the requirements. So then it's also, if you don't have the 100,000 subscribers, now you have to either pay for or have a studio with 4K cameras and a crew in order to film all of these videos and or a collaboration that we could potentially do. And in actuality, there's literally nothing wrong with having that stipulation. Hey, I want to make sure that it's mutually beneficial for us to work together. Makes total sense. The only issue is that I consider it as a challenge that I have to hit 100,000 subscribers, not even just to interview them, but in order for me to be able to prove a point and to be able to prove somebody wrong. Like, hey, you know what? Remember when I didn't have 100,000 subscribers? Well, I was able to achieve that goal and be able to exceed it. So that way you can't really look down on me because I don't have the subscribers, right? I started this channel because I got laid off and I wanted to help others to not make the same decision or the same mistakes. And that was the reason as to why I made it, to help as much people as possible. But now I feel like I've been challenged and I've been looked down upon. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and make sure that they know that I have the ability to be able to do this and then some. So that's just more so my own personality. And then also, one last thing is that you will also then have somebody, another example, I did ask for an interview for somebody, a big name person on social media, really cool guy. I was like, man, we could be friends. And he was like, you know what, bro? I asked him for the interview. I said, you know what, bro? He said, whatever you need, I will go ahead and do it for you. You have an interview, I got you. You want to do like a collaboration, I got you. Whatever it is. Very down to earth. Now you have these two separate ideologies. One's like, hey, you need to have an obscene amount of subscribers, more subscribers that could fit into like a stadium. You need to have a stadium full of subscribers. That's what you need to have. And or a 4K camera and or a studio with lighting and all this other kind of stuff, which I do have access to. I do have access to a studio, and I can pay for a crew and 4K cameras and everything. It just wouldn't be worth it to be able to do that. But because of those types of things, those two ideologies, that one, like, I'm cool with whatever, versus I want to see is mutually beneficial. Nothing is wrong with either one of those. So just kind of wanted to bring up that you may run across that as well. If you're kind of in the same boat as me, you're business minded, but then you're also in the tech industry meeting a lot of different people. And then you can run into somebody who has a lot of clout, a lot of money. And when you go to speak to them, they can be like a person who can help you, and or they can be one of your biggest motivations as to why you had to keep going. So regardless, just wanted to kind of bring that up, that this is how it is at these tech conferences. I do want to go ahead and get into the next part of the live stream, which is going to be talking about how the tech landscape is evolving. I want to go ahead and turn it over to us talking about AI and its effects on people. So let's go ahead and turn it over to the Wall Street Journal. I saw this article yesterday or a little earlier today. Let's go ahead and turn it over. All right. So let's see right here. So we have this Wall Street Journal article right here, which is talking about AI regulations. All right, so let's see. We refresh. And we're going to watch this video right quick and react to it. It's only like a minute long.
Vote is closed. And it is adopted. Congratulations.
I think that you have all heard and probably agree that AI is too important not to regulate, and it's too important to badly regulate. A good regulation that we all agree on as soon as possible must be a common objective.
The absolute minimum that we need to offer here is transparency. It must be clear that this content has not been made by a human. And we also go one step further and ask developers of these large models to be more transparent and share their information with providers and how these systems were trained and how they were developed.
All right, so that was a quick video. Wall Street Journal talking about the European Union lawmakers to move forward to having AI regulation. So if you guys don't know about the EU and just Europe in general, they pretty much talk about data, and they want to protect their data a lot more strictly than the US. So they had issues with Meta and or Facebook before they changed their name to Meta. They had issues with them and how they have their data privacy. So just a little bit of context on as to why you may see the EU making some more regulations when it comes to AI. All right, so I'm going to read just a little bit of this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but let me go to the chat right quick before we continue on. Let me say salute to everybody. Salute to JC the Conqueror. Appreciate you for coming in. Giza of Oz. Appreciate you for coming in. Shout out to Untitled. Cool. Kamasi. Appreciate you for coming in. Salute. We got my boy Textual Chatter up in the building. Appreciate you for coming in. So guys, I actually met Textual Chatter in Atlanta a few months ago, and actually absolutely had a great time just hanging with him and made some new connections. So shout out to Textual Chatter. He is also a great YouTuber. I think he recently hit I believe it's 1 million views on his YouTube channel. Shout out to this man for putting in the work. He has interviewed me on his channel. Please go ahead and check him out as well. He does a lot of interviews. I think he recently just came out with an interview as well. So he is definitely putting in a lot of work. One of the best tech YouTube podcasts that I've been a part of, that I've watched as well. So please go ahead and check him out. All right, so we got First Gen Corporate. Shout out to First Gen Corporate. Appreciate you. One of the networkers up in the chat. Boris the Beast, appreciate you. We got Engineering Cannabis. Appreciate you for coming in. He says AI in healthcare is huge, and he's working with a couple. Okay. Shout out to Princessa. Appreciate you for coming in. And Textual Chatter, yes, I'm planning on coming to Afrotech. So we're going to see if my company is going to pay for it first. Let me see if my company going to pay for it first, and then we're going to see if I want to put the money towards Afrotech right quick. And then Engineering Cannabis asks a question. He says, as a data engineer, do you see AI as a fad or a technology that is here to stay? It's here to stay. It is definitely here to stay. Oh, also, Keep It Techie. Appreciate you as well. Shout out to Keep It Techie. He is also another great, fantastic tech podcast YouTuber as well, along with him and Citizen Lou as well. Shout out to all the tech bros up in the chat. I will be dropping the link in a little while as well, just so that way I can see if anybody would want to come up to discuss some of these topics. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to the AI, right? So these AI regulations that the EU is trying to place. When the EU does something, it does mean that there's going to be regulations that may affect other countries as well. So same thing with California having their CCPA or the data privacy laws that they put in place, so that way people can request their information to be sent to them or deleted. That affected other industries in order for them to be compliant with CCPA. So let's go ahead and go back to this article. So it says this. It says, advances in artificial intelligence this year have rocked the tech industry, triggering calls from politicians, consumer groups, and AI executives themselves for rules governing how to use the technology. Those regulations are now taking shape, at least on the side of the Atlantic. The European Union's Parliament voted Wednesday to push forward draft legislation called the AI Act that is positioned to be the West's first comprehensive set of AI regulations. The draft rules include bans on real-time remote biometric surveillance in public spaces and would prohibit harvesting surveillance footage or scraping the internet in developing facial recognition databases. The Parliament, that's gonna be a big one. Pretty much what this is just training data. If you guys don't know what AI does or what it is, let me go to the big screen. Hold on 1 second. All right, so if you guys do not know what AI is, let me break it down to you really simply. So that we have some value out of this. What AI is, artificial intelligence, what it is trying to mimic human intelligence, right? So that is what AI, the overall goal of what AI is trying to do, is trying to mimic what a human would do or what a human would think. And you have different levels of artificial intelligence. So one of the lowest levels of artificial intelligence that you may have come across would be something like a video game, right? You have AI within a video game that will do a certain set of tasks, like run after you or try to chase you or get you out of the game and or play a game with you. One of the lowest levels that you may see is the unbeatable checkers, right? If you ever play checkers or tic-tac-toe, the AI can figure out what you're trying to do and it can beat you in the game. And then also, if you want to go a little bit further, I like to give this example. Actually, I heard this a few months ago about what AI is and what is it trying to do. What AI is, think about it as you have a art thief, or a counterfeiter. You have an art counterfeiter. You have the museum, and then you have the art critic. Art counterfeiter, museum, and the art critic. Okay? So the counterfeiter, what he's trying to do is he is trying to trick the art critic into thinking that his artwork is real. Right? So that's what the AI. AI is a counterfeiter. Right? So the AI is saying, okay, well, I'm going to create some artwork. I'm going to paint something up that looks really nice. He draws like a stick figure, and then he sends it into the art critic. The art critic looks at it and it says, you know what? It looks 100% fake. So this is fake. We're not going to give you any money. We're not going to put this into the museum. Well, what happens is the art critic sends that back to the counterfeiter. The counterfeiter says, well, dang, you think I ain't that good at artwork? Okay, I'm going to show you. I took that as a challenge, so I'm going to keep making more and more artwork. He keeps sending more and more artwork until he gets really good at what he does. The counterfeiter says, okay, well, this one's going to be like going through to the museum. I'm going to get some money. So he paints something up. It looks like the Mona Lisa, sends it over to the art critic. The art critic says, dang, this looks like it's 98% real. It's so well detailed. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and just say, okay, this is real. So the Mona Lisa fake that the counterfeiter made went through to the museum. So that's what AI is trying to do. It is trying to mimic a real life or a human's intelligence. And what it's doing is taking in a lot of information and trying to recreate whatever it is given. So when it comes to facial recognition, like we saw earlier, it's scraping data from the internet in order to push it into these databases, store that information, and then to be used later to be able to potentially predict something, to be able to trick somebody into thinking that something is real. There's a plethora of different use cases for AI, but that is pretty much what AI is, what its use case is, what it does, and then also what people use it for. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to my screen. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off in a second, and then we can move on to the next part. All right, so let's see. All right, so it says the Parliament's version also seeks a ban on so-called predictive policing systems, which analyze prior criminal behavior and other data and try to predict future illegal activity. All right, so move on, and it says more broadly, the draft legislation aims to regulate how companies train AI models with large data sets. It would, in some cases, require companies to disclose when content is generated using AI. All right, so imagine you're trying to cheat on your test in college. You use ChatGPT, and ChatGPT says, well, this was generated by AI, it has some signature when you copy the text. So that may be an issue for people who may be trying to utilize AI for some other reason. Trust me, I have used AI before for creating posts. Absolutely fantastic because it saves you on so much time. And it can also help you with a lot of different things. All right, so then shout out to Engineering Cannabis as well. He says, stages of AI, machine learning, deep learning, and reinforcement learning, and the fuel of all AI is data. Exactly. 100%. Big data being in the terabytes to petabytes of data, huge amounts of data that you can think of. of just many different various things. And if you don't know what data is, it's just information, right? Just think of it as information. Shout out to Professor Black Ops, Cybersecurity for the People. Please go ahead and check out his channel as well. I think Engineer Cannabis, do you have a channel? I think you have a channel. Let me know if you do or not. But yeah, please go ahead and check out the Tech Bros and their channels. All right, so this is going to be the last paragraph I'm going to read. Under the rules, companies would also need to design their AI models in a way that prevents them from creating illegal content, and they would be required to publish summaries of the copyrighted data used to train their model. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. What do you guys think about this, about these AI regulations that the EU is trying to set into place, such as ChatGPT letting people know that, hey, you are indeed using AI. It was generated by AI. ChatGPT created this. And yes. Okay, so and then, yes, Engineer Cannabis does have a channel named AI and Me, dealing with AI and big data. Awesome. Yeah, that is, I'm learning a lot more about AI actually through trying to get this certification with Google Cloud. So I'm learning a lot more about the use cases and how to fix specific issues that you may have. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. All right, this one I'm going to go through quickly. This one is also another Wall Street Journal article. It's talking about AI taking people's jobs, okay? So AI is a tool that we can utilize for helping us with not only our business, our personal lives, our school work, our work lives. All of that will be able to help us in the long run, but we are going to be losing a lot of these jobs that can be automated. So they came out with a list of jobs that cannot be automated, and mostly these are going to be jobs that are you have to physically be there. Like a physical therapist, you can't automate something like that. Being a therapist, right? You cannot automate something like that. Being a construction worker, you technically could get robots to be able to do heavy lifting and stuff, but you would need humans in order to be on the ground to be able to manage these robots and or machines, so that way everything is built correctly based off of the requirements. All right, so let's see. You got a question from Professor Black Ops. He says, what is your thoughts on Google certificates? I think that they are useful, but it is not it's not really required for you to get a Google certification. Certifications in general, I don't believe that they're required for the majority of these tech jobs. I think that a degree is more so required for a lot of tech jobs, specifically jobs like data engineering, data scientists, for a lot of these companies. It's not saying that you can't do it, but without a degree, but it is saying that a certification is not necessarily going to get you a position. It may help you to make more money, however. But yeah, so definitely, I think that Google certs are useful if you're trying to upgrade the amount of money that you're getting or the salary that you're getting from your either current employer, or if you're trying to become more marketable, then a Google certification and or certifications in general will be able to help you to be more competitive in the market, and then also stand out and get a higher salary. Okay, so that is my opinion on Google certifications. Okay, so it says this. Let's go back to the article. It says, "Welcome to White Castle. Would you like human interaction with that?" It says customers have a love-hate relationship with Julia, a robot who is not shy about encouraging add-ons. It's a pain in the butt, is what somebody says. All right, so it says this. Julia, who works the drive-through at White Castle in Merrillville, I think is how you say it, Merrillville, Indiana, is in many ways a model employee, polite, prompt, and doesn't mind working the overnight shift. Still, something seemed off to John Lewis, a retired carpenter from nearby Lowell. For one thing, he had to repeat his order for onion rings. For another, Julia wasn't human. Julia is among a freshman class of artificial intelligence enabled chatbots being put to work in fast food drive-thrus. That's another thing I noticed, because if people have accents, if people have speech impediments, if somebody is disabled, then the natural language processing that an AI would have may not understand what the person is trying to say. Right? You also have people who are mute. I met somebody who was mute. Very rare to meet them, I would think. But yeah, so they probably would not be able to order their food in that fashion, right? You might have to go inside. Restaurant executives say Julia, as a White Castle's system is called, and its chatbot colleagues can make their restaurants more efficient and free up often scarce workers to do other jobs. The jury is still out with customers. It's a pain in the butt, said Lewis after collecting his order. It has been predicted that artificial intelligence revolutionize computer programming, enable widespread cheating among college students, and possibly even destroy the human race. For now, AI chatbots are still learning the art of taking orders for burgers and fries. Hey, but think about it. In 10 years, imagine where it will be. Across 10 orders at the Indiana White Castle on a recent day, 3 customers asked to talk to a human attendant after conversing with Julia, either because they preferred human interaction or because Julia misheard orders. One woman was peeved that her jalapeno sliders order hadn't come out correctly. Others shouted repeatedly that they accepted the terms and conditions of ordering through a robot, though they otherwise ordered without incident. Yes, and then this is the last one I'm going to read. It says, White Castle Vice President Jamie Richardson said some customers have a love-hate relationship with Julia and that the company is listening to the feedback and investing to make the system better. All right, so you see that they said they're investing to make Julia better, but they are not trying to hire more humans to actually address what they're asking for. They're saying, hey, we want more human interaction because I think a human will be able to listen to my request and get it correctly. But instead they're saying, hey, we are not going to hire more humans on. We're going to be making Julia better. All right, so let's see. And then Engineer Cannabis come back in. He says, some of the aspects with people who are mute utilizing computer vision and NLP, natural language processing, are also using signaling processing for people with an accent. Ooh, that's actually pretty interesting. But I have seen that before, where like the signal processing, where you can Like they like look at your face, look at like your hands, and they can determine whether or not if you're angry, sad, or mad, what hand gesture you're doing. AI has a lot of different things that it can do that we have not even scratched the surface on yet. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Saw this on Instagram a little while ago. It says scammer used AI to replicate a 15-year-old voice to call her mother and demand $1 billion in ransom money. So it says a parent's worst nightmare, a terrified call from your screaming child and a faceless kidnapper demanding $1 million for their safe return. When Arizona mother Jennifer DiStefano, I cannot say that last name. Hold on. DeStefano. There we go. DeStefano. Jennifer DeStefano received such a demand from her 15-year-old daughter, Bree, this week. She panicked, froze, and started thinking about how much she could afford to save her daughter's life. Only Bree wasn't gagged on her way to Mexico, as the voice had claimed. She was safe on a ski trip, completely unaware of the terror her mother was enduring. That is the frightening reality of the latest danger to be posed by increasingly threatening AI technology that now needs just 3 seconds of a sample to clone a person's voice and weaponize it against their nearest and dearest. So yes, that is another thing. In addition to all of those other things that we said about the AI being able to look at your face and have facial recognition, be able to recognize what hand gestures you're able to do, recognize if you're angry, mad, sad, whatever emotion you may have. It can also replicate your voice. So they have like AI artists who are rapping and, just doing a plethora of different things with AI. So let's see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the call-in lines right quick, and then I'm going to continue on with this meeting. Let's see. There we go. All right, so it has been a minute since I logged into my Zoom and open up the call-in lines. I'm going to go ahead and start it, and I'm going to drop the link so that way you guys can join in for this live stream. All right, there we go. Drop the link for you guys so that way you can call in. Anybody wants to call in, please go ahead and click that link. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next video. Or the next article. All right, so this is another use of AI that I found as well, where it can actually quite literally change your face on video. So let's see. All right, so I'm gonna pause the music. But so you can see right here, it's a woman. Let me see if I can zoom in. All right, so you can see right here, it's a woman on the screen. And you got guys in the background. He says scammers are going to misuse this. All right, so you have, and then this is what the guy looks like. All right, scale of 1 to 10. How fast y'all gonna slide in on old girl DMs if y'all see her? Man, I'm sure that somebody I'm sure that some people are gonna get some guys like this. 9 times out of 10, I think that this will pretty much be able to fool somebody into thinking that this is a real person, that this is what they actually look like. Just to see is this dude. All right, so that's one more use of AI, and then now going back to the other example of Julia, right? We had that article about Julia and White Castle. So we have over 4,000 people have lost their jobs in May due to AI. So last month, it says artificial intelligence contributed to nearly 4,000 job losses last month as interest in the rapidly evolving technology ability to perform advanced organizational tasks and lighten workloads has intensified. So I don't know if you guys remember where everybody was talking about quiet quitting, and they had like the people who were just quitting their jobs. Quiet quitting just means like you just leave at the time that you're supposed to leave, right? Which is if you have a 9-to-5 job, you leave at 5 o'clock. So that's what quiet quitting is. You don't turn on your computer after work. You don't turn on your camera after work hours. You don't answer the phone. That's what quiet quitting is. But then you also have people who were just leaving their jobs during the pandemic and not actually knowing that there's going to be even more job losses in the industry as time progresses. He says the report released Thursday by the outplacement firm shows that layoff announcements from U.S.-based employers reached more than 80,000 in May, a 20% jump from the prior month and nearly 4 times the level for the same month last year. Okay. Two last things before we go ahead and get out of here. I don't see anybody who's joined onto the link. I'm going to put it out one more time. All right, so I put the Zoom link one more time into the chat. If nobody joins in, we can go ahead and close it on out. Two more things. So this one has nothing to do with tech, but I just thought it was interesting that Saudi Arabia is so rich, or a lot of these people are so rich, they actually bought golf. I just thought that was a pretty interesting article. This is from CNBC. There's a lot of different articles as well. It says PGA Tour agrees to merge with Saudi-backed rival LIV Golf. Right, so let's just go through a little bit of this video right quick, and then I'll go on to the next one.
The PGA Tour and its Saudi-backed competitor LIV Golf, along with Europe's DP World Tour, have agreed to merge in expectation of creating a global entity for the game of golf. The agreement, which is not yet a definitive agreement, ends the hostility between LIV and the PGA, along with the litigation between the parties. And it calls for the giant Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, PIF, which created LIV, to invest significant, I'm told, what will be billions of dollars into the new entity. That's over time. The PGA, which is currently a not-for-profit, will contribute its commercial business and rights into a new for-profit company. and will gain or will continue to have governance rights over that new entity. I had a chance to sit down with the key players behind the deal, PIF Governor Yasser Al-Rumayyan and PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan. Of course, just seeing these two together makes one wonder, well, how in the world did this come about?
Listen, I think today is it's a historical day for the PGA Tour and the game of golf. And it's a historical day for the PIF and the DP World Tour. And you're right, there's been a lot of tension in our sport over the last couple of years. But what we're talking about today is coming together to unify the game of golf and to do so under one umbrella. And David, the way that we're doing that is we're creating a for-profit LLC that the PIF is going to invest in alongside the DP World Tour. And together we're going to move forward and we're going to take efforts to grow and expand this great game and to take it to new heights. And so what's happened today, and to your earlier question, is we've recognized that together we can have a far greater impact on this game than we can working apart. And I give Yasser great credit for coming to the table, coming to the discussions with an open heart and an open mind. We did the same, and the game of golf is better for what we've done here today.
Yasser, give me some sense here as to how this came about, how the first call was made, and how you were able to find common ground, again, given what had been a particularly difficult history between the PGA and LIV.
We met in London. We had a lunch, followed by the next day a round of golf, then another lunch. We had discussions. We covered everything. And one of the things that I said then, had we met 2 or 3 years ago, the impact that we will have in the game of golf would be lesser.
Why?
Because it would be something small. But the way we're doing our partnership, it's going to be really big in many senses. We will have both the LIV and the PGA Tour in addition to all of our assets, and we will be investing in the growth of the game of golf and doing many new things that I think will have a better engagement from the players, the fans, the broadcasters, the sponsors, everyone else, and hopefully to even give a better access for more and more people to the game of golf. The way we would love to make the game of golf very much accessible, just like any other sport, just like football, basketball, any other sport. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what we don't have right now and today.
Right. Well, Jay, from your perspective, when you had a meeting, Jimmy Dunn obviously had this meeting, and it kind of went from there. Give our viewers now a sense as to the structure of this. And you've talked a bit about the fact that you're a nonprofit, but you're going to create a for-profit. Correct. You're going to merge, essentially,
correct, yes,
and be a for-profit company, correct?
Yes. So the C6 still stays in place, and out of the C6, we'll continue to operate our tours. We'll put our player retirement plans and assets there. So that stays in place. I think it's very important. One of the things that's important to both of us is every single week when we're playing tournaments, we're making a huge impact in the communities where, we're invited guests.
All right, so as you can see, that Saudi Arabia and PGA went from being a non-for-profit to now becoming a for-profit company due to the fact that LIV just had a huge amount of money. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It says the PGA Tour has agreed to merge with Saudi-backed rival LIV Golf in a deal that would be the competitor's squash pending litigation and move forward as a larger golf enterprise. If you can't beat them, you got to join them. The two entities signed an agreement that will combine the PGA Tours and LIV Golf's commercial businesses and rights into a new yet to be named for-profit company. The agreement includes DP World Tour, also known as PGA European Tour. LIV Golf is backed by the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, an entity controlled by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and has been embroiled in antitrust lawsuits with the PGA Tour in the last year. The deal announced Tuesday would end all pending litigation. PIF is prepared to invest billions of new capital into the new entity, CNBC's David Faber reported Tuesday. It says the agreement, the second stunning sports deal in just months following the WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment's merger with Endeavor Group, UFC, will require the approval of the PGA Tour Policy Board. Commissioner Jay Monahan said in a memo to players that was obtained by CNBC. All right, so it looks like LIV is smoking on that PGA pack. All right, so very last article that we have for today. I don't see anybody in the back, so we're going to go ahead and close it out in a second. The very last one I want to go ahead and talk about, last but not least, this is a quick report from Yahoo Entertainment. It is stating that Tyler Perry is going to be taking control of BET. So now BET is going to be black owned after 20 plus years. It's finally going to be black owned. So shout out to Tyler Perry. It says, according to a recent report from streamer, Tyler Perry is set to take control of the cable channel BET. What happened between Tyler Perry and BET? The report mentions that Perry's acquisition comes as Paramount is losing money. Perry's deal is valued at an as of yet undisclosed amount. It will give him control over BET Media Group, which is also comprised of networks like VH1. VH1 and BET be black owned. Perry is no stranger to working with BET. The star partnered with the company via his Tyler Perry Studios banner to create BET Plus, a streaming service that features both original films and series from the BET program library. Since its launch, this streaming service has been massive. In 2021, BET Plus accounted for half of the subscriber growth and nearly all revenue growth for the channel. The news comes following news that Paramount Global had been seeking to sell a majority stake in BET. Earlier this year, Perry expressed optimism about buying the company, saying that if it was possible, he was very, very interested. Rumor? No, it's not a rumor. I've been there for 4 years now and had tremendous success, said Perry to Entertainment Online. I wasn't expecting this to happen, so yes, if that is possible, I'm very, very interested in taking as much of it if it is possible. I'm going to take as much as I can. All right, so that is what is going on for Tyler Perry. So this is the article from Yahoo Entertainment. Let me go through the comments real quick before we go ahead and close it on out. I don't see anybody in the Zoom. I'll drop it one last time just in case. Please also, guys, go ahead and like the video. So we got Engineering Cannabis says, due to AI, the United States had to pay $75 billion to UNESCO to rejoin the organization to remain competitive in the area of AI. So I did not know that. I have to do some more research into it. It says, Lou Medic says, Saudi got some real money to pull that off. Next, Apple, Microsoft. Yeah, Apple and Microsoft got some money, but yeah, the Saudi government got a lot of deep pockets. And then Lou Medic says, I'm not surprised that Tyler Perry took it over. I would have liked to see 50 Cent or Byron Allen take it before Tyler, but okay. Hey, man, you know, that's just how it goes when you are talking about business. Maybe they did not have the opportunity, and or maybe they didn't find the opportunity to be interesting enough, as Tyler Perry has a huge influence on BET and has had a huge influence on BET to where Diary of a Mad Black Woman plays literally every single day, multiple times throughout the day, right up there with Baby Boy and Madea Goes to Jail, and also Madea Family Reunion. So all these Madea movies from Tyler Perry, Family That Prays Together, also plays on there. He has multiple shows on BET. Yeah, there's no way that it would make sense for anybody else to buy it outside of Tyler Perry, since he's so heavily invested into BET. But yeah, go ahead and switch it on over. All right, guys. So that being said, I do not see anybody in the chat, but I do appreciate every single person for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. I promise I'm coming out with some more videos that you guys can watch on this channel. I'm going to be clipping up parts of this live stream as well, so that way you're able to see some more content on this channel and be able to just watch like specific clips as opposed to watching the long 1 hour long live stream that we just did. So with that being said, I will see you all in the next video. Please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And also hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified whenever I make new videos on YouTube. Also, guys, please go ahead and check out the Discord chat as well. It's completely free for you guys to be able to join. You have networking sessions, and it has always been a great time hanging out with the networkers. Please go ahead and check it out. It is in the YouTube About section on my channel. So with that being said, I will see you all on the next video. It could have been anywhere in the world, but here with me.